I pay respect to the divine in you. Sahajaste means I pay respect or I bow to the natural in you. Because what we are going to explore today and in next 6 more days is the yoga of love and relationship. Although it is put as yoga philosophy, but it will be science, psychology, naturality, and philosophy of love and relationship. So I'm not going to talk about Patanjali's yoga or Hatha yoga or different kind of yoga, but this will be our focus. So we will be meeting here from 11 to 12:30, so that will be one part. It will include a very informal talk and dialogue, and if you would like, we can gather again in the afternoon sometime if you are interested exploring it further in a small group, interaction and dialogue. But if people are interested, otherwise there is no need for it. Whatever I am going to explore with you is based on a new system of teachings. A new system means a new form, because whatever we teach, whatever we do here, there is nothing original or new, because there cannot be. We merely interpret whatever nature provided us. So if a writer or a musician or a spiritual teacher, if they say, I have something original to offer, they are wrong. Because there is nothing original in human world. What we do, we look at the nature, its ways, and give it a form and interpretation, articulate it in our language, thinking this is original. Because only one thing which is original in our universe is nature itself. That is the only original book, the book of nature. Rest is just commentary, articulation, as I said, organizing, giving it a new form. So what we call naturality is a new form, is a new system of teachings. Because we need a new form and teaching. As we know, truth remains the same. Truth can never change. Why? Because by definition, truth means which is absolute, which is non-dual, which is independent, which is beyond all relationships. And if anything is without any relationship, it is absolute and independent, is also unchangeable. It is eternal. It is beyond time and space. So that is why I am emphasizing truth remains the same, but its interpretation changes according to the time and space. And I think ours is the time that we have to get a very different interpretation now. Because in the past, human beings, they created so many systems of knowledge, so many ways to express, so many ways to practice. And that has to change now, because we are entering into entirely new era in the evolution of humans. And I would like to go back a little bit on history to make you clear so you understand when we are exploring. The first seminal area happened around 6th-7th century BC. It is called First Axial Age, AXIAL. First Axial Age, and this is a term coined by Marcel, a philosopher from Germany. Because if you really look in 6th and 7th century BC, there were a great number of great people came into being. In India, it was Buddha, Mahavir, Ajivak, Sanjay Vetliputra, Ajit Keshli Kambal, because there were at least 12 human beings like Buddha. If you look into the Greece, then we find Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. You go to Judaism, then you find great Jewish prophets and mystics. If you go to China, you will find Lao Tse and Chuang Tzu. And in Persia, it was great Zoroaster, after which Zoroastrianism or Parsi religion was born. So that is around 6th century BC, those 200-300 years of great churning, beginning of a new age, first age of great transformation, about which Karen Armstrong wrote so eloquently. She was a Catholic nun, and now she is a great researcher and writer. Age of Transformation. That was the book. The result of that churning was two great religions, Christianity and Islam. One was almost 2000 years ago, another one 6th to 8th century AD. But then came the second very big axial age, age of transformation, 300 years ago in Europe. It is called Age of Enlightenment. And that is where the reason, the logic, and the rise of science happened. And we are still going through it. And the result of that is pervasive everywhere. No matter where you go, the effect of science and technology. That is where the democracy of knowledge appeared also, based again on reason. So that is again a seminal age, 18th century, 300 years ago. And the result of that is the third transformative era in our time, because now we are experiencing what we call world culture, first time in human history. Before that, all cultures were local, regional, maximum continental. But this time, world is uniting into a global place because of the transportation and telecommunication. Just like sitting here, this is basically the representative of a global village. People from all walks of life, all colors, language, coming together, discussing, exploring, dreaming, moving forward. And this world culture demands something new, a new interpretation of truth. Because what are the qualities? Although this world culture is still in very early stages, it has to mature. And you can see already so much reaction against this world culture, this openness, these liberal values, the values of freedom. In various countries, as you see, the rightist, extreme right wing is resisting it. It may be Brazil, it may be in India, it may be in Middle East, it may be in the United States. People are very shocked at how we are moving, right? But that is a very good sign. It is not a sign of pessimism, because once you do something good, something open, when we are expending, the old forces which are entrenched for centuries from millennia are going to react. So that is a good sign in the sense that something so significant is happening that they are going to assert the other way. And that is the movement of life, because movement of life is not linear. Movement of life is dialectical. So something positive comes, it has to face the resistance of negative. If it is not facing the resistance of negative, means something wrong in it, because it has to overcome those negative forces. Because the positive comes, the negative comes, or we can call it thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. So a new era which evolves, that always comes after overcoming this resistance. So that is what is happening, which is a good sign for the world culture. It may take few years, few decades, but those forces are slowly going to disappear, because that is a march of human history. Now this world culture is primarily a Western culture. That is what I wanted to emphasize, that this world culture is primarily motivated, energized by Western culture. That is why wherever you go into the world, Western culture is spreading very, very fast, which is good. There's nothing bad about it. Why? Because first time people are adopting a culture willingly. In the past, culture was always imposed by the conquerors. It decimated the old culture in a violent way, forcefully converted the people of different culture and countries. But the first time again in human history, people are adopting it willingly. Everywhere in the world. In fact, they are going to West in order to understand it, to copy it, to innovate upon it. So no part of the globe is going to remain untouched, and wherever the resistance is going to disappear. Because that is how it has to be. Because that is what humans want. I'm not saying it is a good or bad. From my point of view, it is good because this is a part of evolution. But the problem with this world culture is its core is empty. Because Western culture, the way it is spreading is by and large materialistic in its approach. And I would like to give the meaning of materialistic culture. It is not about money, because sometimes we interpret materialism means desire for money. No. That is just a superficial meaning, because everybody is desiring for money. So if you think Indians are more spiritualist and they are less materialistic, no. Once you live in this society, you will realize they are as materialistic as anybody anywhere else. Materialism means when I think that everything is made up of matter. Because that is a unique feature of Western culture. It is materialistic in approach, means it is focusing on material world, improving it, perfecting it, polishing it. And that is what you see. So if you go into the West, Canada, United States, or Western Europe, Northern Europe, what you will find, they are constantly trying to perfect, to bring order to the external world. But when we come to India, that external order falls apart a little bit. It's not a complete mess. It is halfway. Because the focus is still not on material world. I live in Canada 7 months in a year, and what I see is such a beautiful order outside my home. Streets are clean, trees are planted, flowers are blooming. Everybody is making sure they don't honk the horn outside, and you can't build any unauthorized structure. So all those things are material, perfecting the material world. India's focus was always on spiritual world. Chinese focus was on etiquette, social customs, behavior, hierarchy. Egyptians' focus was on other world also. What will happen when they will die? They wanted to take everything of this world to the other world. So different culture, they have a different focus. And because Western culture is spreading everywhere, it is mainly materialist. They want to perfect, bring symmetry, bring order to the external world. So, but the problem with human beings is they are not merely material beings. They are much more than that. So, in spite of that order into the material world, there is so much inner disorder. So much inner disorder. Because the core is not yet in order. And this world culture has three unique features. So that will explain further. Number one, everybody wants a material well-being. They want to be comfortable. So when you are coming here, what is the focus? That I should have a comfortable stay. Second is individualism. Initially, the focus of this society was community, society, village and tribe. Now the focus is individual. And number third feature of it is pervasive influence of science. We want to explain most of the thing from the point of view of science. So these are the three features. That is why we have to reinterpret the truth, because only the truth can bring inner order. And that is what is called yoga, because yoga is one of the approach to the truth. But the truth has to be reinterpreted. And there are millions of efforts are going on, and one of the effort which we are doing, that is why we created a system, it is called naturality. Naturality. Naturality means living according to your nature. Naturality means neither religious nor spiritual, but natural. Neither religious nor spiritual, but natural. Because gradually what is going to happen in our world, religion will play less significant role. Even we will question, or people are questioning about spirituality. So that is why naturality means whatever I am, I want to know myself. I want to know myself. In spirituality, what we do, in religion, what we do, religion means rituals, rules and readings. There is a prophet and there is a God. So these 5 features belong to religion: readings, scriptures, rituals, whatever we perform, rituals, and rules. There are rules. And 2 more things, a prophet, because each religion has a prophet, a great teacher, and then we believe in a God. And primary goal of religion is mass movement. It is mainly socio-political, because that is what it wants to unite society, which is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. But the problem is when people are stuck at that level, then conflict happens, then violence happens. If religion is moving, it's not a problem, because the next movement of religion is spirituality. Spirituality means when individual says, listen, I experienced it all, but now I want to go within myself. I want to know the truth. I'm not going to confine myself to rituals, readings and rules and prophet and God. That is where our individual search starts. And that is what all of us are doing, including you. But still that spiritual search is dependent on some guru. Something new, some new book, some new ideas, some new system is of philosophy. Still it is quite a bit externally directed. So naturality is a further step in which you say, I will let go everything which is external. I am going to study the book of my own life. That is my scripture. I am going to find my own rules based on my natural personality, because I am born with a unique personality. That I am going to find inner guru. So now the movement is inside. It started with religion, very beautiful. It came to the spirituality, very beautiful. And now it is coming to me. Now everything is contained in me. That is why in Hinduism, the most beautiful saying ever uttered was, Aham Brahmasmi. I am the Brahm. I am the consciousness. I am the truth. I am all. So that is where naturality stands. And in naturality, we put together 5 yogas, 5 new yogas. We are not going to discuss all those 5. We are not going to explore because we don't have time. But the first yoga is yoga of love and relationship. Second yoga is yoga of complete beauty, because we have to redefine the beauty in the context of this world culture. Third yoga is the yoga of emotions and mental health. So that is how we put all these 5 yogas, but we are going to explore the first one, yoga of love and relationship. Traditionally, it is called Bhakti Yoga, but I think Bhakti Yoga is very difficult to follow, so we call it yoga of love and relationship. I am going to start with a chant, and after the chant, we will go into it. But before that, any question? Because I said, yes, please.
What you were talking about at the beginning of your speech, the change of cycles or change of time, you say mankind is going to enter into a new cycle. In astrology, did you think about the age of Aquarius or something like that?
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct. So age of Aquarius it is called, and also it was connected with the New Age movement because they are interconnected. You are so right. Please.
You say there are 5 types of yoga.
That's right.
Love and relationship, beauty, emotions.
Emotions, mental health. Yoga of old age and aging, because we know that we are living for such a long time. So we have to come up with something very unique which is geared towards, because I'm entering into it. From Indian point of view, already I am senior. In Canada, I have to wait for 3 years. So I am the part of aging and old age. And another yoga is yoga of death and dying. Why death and dying? Because that is the core fear, that is the fundamental fear of human beings. Because that is the blessing and the curse of being aware, being of conscious. I hope I could be a bit of butterfly, just live my life and die without any consciousness. But I'm blessed with this consciousness, awareness. I have so many dreams, I built so much, I refined my skill, and after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it is going to completely to an end. That is a very frightening perspective. All these beautiful faces, exploring, building, doing, all of us will be gone after 40, 50, 60 years. Is that death so terrible? No, death is beautiful. If we understand it, if we become aware of it, and that is a theme of yoga of death and time. So these are the 5 yogas. Well, we are actually invited in Ecuador to speak about human rights. So we can start a yoga of human rights also. Because now we have to do. Fundamentals are there, now we have to build and deal with the very specific human problem, not only the general life. So those are the 5 yogas. I have some books here, small booklets, so you, after the end, if you would like, you can have it. It explains. Now I will start with the chant. Dharma deham, dharma manas, dharma buddhi atma, dharma priyajan, dharma sarvajan, dharma desh dharme dhara, dharma neham dharma ekam, dharma hi katishilta, dharma jivan dharma chetan, dharma hi anand param, sahajam asti asti asti. The meaning of this mantra, these few lines says, right care of my body, feelings, thoughts and soul. Right care of my body, feelings, thoughts and soul. That comes first. The second part is right care of my family, community, country and earth. Let that right care come from the sense of oneness, love and movement. Out of this, the movement is the most important. Because why love dies? Why love becomes stale? Why relationship disappears? Because the river of love becomes a pond, a pool. It stagnates, it dries up, it stinks, and everything falls apart. So whenever we explore yoga from naturality point of view, the movement, because that is the very nature of life. The moment it stops, everything becomes stale and dies. So let this right care come from the sense of oneness, love and movement, and let this right care come. Let this right care bring us the bliss and joy of conscious life. We affirm it, we affirm it, we affirm it in our naturalness. Because once we are living in our nature, life can never stop. It moves from one state to another, one level to another, and ultimately it becomes infinite. It never ends. Whatever ends means is going to die. So that is the meaning of this naturality chant. We'll repeat it and I will elaborate on it further, but I just wanted to tell the short meaning of it. Now we move to our main topic, theme, love. The most beautiful, the most profound, the most sacred, the very fabric of the universe. In each cell, in each thought, in each feeling, in each atom, in each electron. There is nothing in our universe where love is not there. But first of all, what is the meaning of love? From where this word originated? Because we are talking about yoga of love. So from where this word comes? It comes from a Sanskrit word, lubh. Lubh. L-U-B-H. Should I write? Okay. Let's write. And a very lovely word comes from lubh, lubhana. Lubhana means to attract, to get attached also. So L-U-B-H, lubh. Lubh.
Sanskrit word.
Pardon?
Sanskrit word.
This is Sanskrit word. Lubh.
Sanskrit Latin.
And lubh is connected to another word called calm. Because in Indian teachings, the Kamdev, the god calm, I think everybody heard Kam Sutra. Why it is called Kam Sutra? Because in Indian mythology, in Indian teachings, Kam is a god of love. It's a god of desire also. It is a god of sex also. So Kam and lubh, they are interconnected because the meaning of both is desire. So what is love? Is desire. What kind of desire it is? Desire to unite. Because that is the beauty of love. It always wants to unite. If I love a house, what I want to do with that house? I want to move into this house. If I love car, if I love money, if I love an animal, if I love somebody, what is a fundamental desire? Not to move away, but move into. And the desire itself is the reason behind the origin of our universe. And I will go to most profound, those few lines from Vedas. Vedas are the ancient scripture from India. Approximately 6,000 years old, but they were written 3,000 years ago. Veda means knowledge. And Vedas are called Shrutis. Shrutis. And I will again tell them, Shruti means which is heard. Heard. Because there is another thing which we call Smriti. Smriti means which is remembered. So somebody gives me a book and I just read it and I remember it. It is called Smriti. It is second-hand knowledge. And that second-hand knowledge is going to have an author, a writer. But Shruti are the original. Heard. Heard doesn't mean heard through the ear. Heard through the whole being. Because that is why sometimes you say, oh, I'm hearing in my soul. I'm listening from my heart. I'm perceiving it through my thoughts and feeling. So this heard, Shruti, is a very profound word. So don't please say that or don't understand it as somebody is saying something and you are hearing from the ear. No. When your whole being is listening to something which is extraordinary. Why extraordinary? Because it is not the part of your ordinary world. That is what is called Shruti. Means a direct experience. A direct experience. So Vedas are the records of the direct experience. Because whatever else we experience is indirect. That is why in India there is no philosophy. In India we call darshan. Darshan means direct experience. Very, very important that whatever you hear otherwise, whatever you read, it is not true unless you experience directly. Before that, be skeptical, don't believe. And what I am going to talk about, that is the direct seeing, which is full of skepticism. Because skepticism is the beginning of all self-inquiry. The scientist does the same, we are going to do the same because we are going very deep into the science of soul, the science of truth. So that is what Shruti and Vedas are all about. And one of the most profound expression in the Vedas, the oldest one is called Rigveda. And Rig means praise, in which praises are sung for the mighty energies which live in our universe, which are ready to bless. And this is called Hymn of Creation, Nasadya Sutta. Nasadya Sutta. And that will tell you how love is the very foundation. Love is the very origin, love is the very source of our universe, our existence in our life. Nasadya Sutta. And Nasadya means not non-existence. Because a lot of people say in spirituality it is non-existence. But this sutta says not non-existence. And I have few copies here, and I will put one of them in case if you want to take a picture. And the same hymn was read by a great astrophysicist, Carl Sagan. I don't know whether you remember Carl Sagan's famous television serial was Cosmos. And he read this Nasadya Sutta. And the essence of Nasadya Sutta is that in the beginning there was nothing. In the beginning it was pure. In the beginning there was something which mind couldn't capture. It was absolutely pure, unconditional. Before our universe came into being. And what happened in this absolute nothing, and nothing doesn't mean void, nothing means no thing. There was no matter, because thing, they always belong to material world. Whether my physical body or my thoughts, my emotions and feelings, they are all material. So in the beginning, there was nothing, just the pure consciousness, absolute, unconditional. And what happened? In that unconditional, a calm, a desire arose. A desire came up. And what was that desire? Desire to know itself. It was there, infinite and absolute, and in that comes a desire to know itself. And what was that desire? Desire for self-love. Just like a creative person. What creative person does? Creative person wants to know himself or herself out of self-love. And then that creative person starts creating a painting, a poetry, prose, music. All that is a result of self-love. So this almost 6,000 years old hymn says, in the beginning there was absolute, there was nothing. Out of that somehow the desire, the self-love surfaced. And as soon as the self-love came to know, immediately the universe which was lying as potential into this nothingness emerged. That is what we call the Big Bang in physics. But it is the result of the desire, the love, because out of the word love comes love. So love, the word is originated in love. It is also calm, the desire, the Kam Sutra. And that is how our universe came. So universe came, sprang forth, originated in that self-love, in that desire. So very fabric of the universe is nothing else love, because the very source is love. So no matter where you go, you cannot escape from it, but still we escape from it. That is why there is so much conflict. And why that conflict and why that love disappears, why relationship disappears with the natural world, with myself and with others, because somehow we got disconnected from the very original source. Because if you really look into the evolution of our universe, in the beginning was absolute nothing, unconditional. Out of that came universe, and it went right down to the matter, which we call Panch Mahabhut in Ayurveda, the 5 fundamental great elements. And from that matter, evolution starts. And where this evolution is going, it is going to return into absolute nothing, unconditional, eternal, the very source, which we call truth. That is why you are here, because this impulse of the absolute is driving you. Even if you want to sit quiet, it won't allow you to. Because a lot of people say this, listen, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to enjoy my life in a very ordinary way. I just want to be full of pleasure. I want to be really feel contented. It is an impossibility that because that impulse, that energy of evolution which descended from this absolute nothingness which is eternal is forcing you. You cannot sit quiet. So that is where we are moving. But in this process, what happens, once we come to the material level, to the level of our body, with our feelings and emotions and thought, we get disconnected because we are not aware of it. And that is why the problem of love. Otherwise, this love is all pervasive, because what we call truth is nothing else but love itself, in its totality, in its wholesomeness, in its entirety. So I will read these few lines for you, so you will understand. Neither being, nor non-being was there, not air, nor sky beyond, in whose protection what was wrapping, was water there, boundless deep. Not death then, nor immortality, or any sign of night or day. One breathed with windless impulse, that was one, and none other at all. Darkness was wrapped by darkness, and all was water indiscriminate, hidden by void, the one emerged, stirring through passion innate. In the beginning, love arose, primal seed of primal mind. Seers searching in their wise hearts found the bond of being in non-being. When the creation arose, whether it formed itself or it did not, that who surveys it from the highest heaven that surely knows, or maybe that does not know. So that is the hymn, Nasadya Sutta, how the love was the prime seat. But the question is, when it is there everywhere, why it disappears? And in next 5 minutes, because after that we will come to the practice. It starts with what is called in yoga Avidya. Avidya. Because if you go to Patanjali's yoga, there are 5 kleshas. 5 kleshas means 5 problems which give rise to sorrow or conflict. And the first klesha is avidya, the ignorance. And why that ignorance appears? Because the way the child is born in this world. And as I mentioned in Naturality, whatever we are exploring, we will look at it through the lens of the science. So we are going to explain here not only the psychology, philosophy and spirituality, but also the science of love. What happens to the brain when we are in love? Because your brain gets so addicted to the love. So that is why when love is gone, it is like a withdrawal syndrome from cocaine. That is why we suffer. That is why we crave for love. So we are going to look from various angles so you understand the yoga of love. Love is literally an addiction. That is why such a heartbreak, and sometimes we are so enraged that in order to find the love, we can kill other person. So many death in our world happens because relationship is broken and the person is so enraged, so much anger because it is a result of withdrawal. And what they do, they destroy the other person. So we are going to look from different angle, but what I will like to say in next few minutes, that a baby is born, a child is born with a brain which is not mature. And what is the meaning of immaturity of the brain? Means it is not capable of self-reflection, self-awareness, which starts at the age of 3 to 4 years. So the child is an animal, just like baby of an animal. And that is the beginning of ignorance. Because it takes a child almost 25 years when the frontal part of the brain mature, that first clear signs of self-awareness and self-reflection, they appear. And that is why the suffering is there, because even at the age of 25, although it is beginning of self-awareness and self-reflection, it is not complete. And before that, the child's life, adult's life is filled with the core problem of humanity, and that core problem is fear. So the problem of love is the problem of fear. If there is a love, fear cannot be there. If there is fear, love cannot be there. And as we mentioned, fear is the core problem, and that pervades everywhere human life. That becomes a bondage, that becomes a prison. That is why love comes with such passion, with such power, with such energy. It soaks us, it stirs us, it can create rebellions and revolution. But unfortunately, it spikes and that dies. And why it dies? The problem of fear. And that fear comes with the self-awareness as we are losing ignorance around the age of 3 to 4 years. So tomorrow we will go deep into it because we'll have to linger upon this theme for a little while, for at least 10 to 15 minutes, to understand not only the problem of love, all human problems come from one source, and that is fear. Including what Buddha said, because Buddha's first noble truth is, world is sorrow or discontentment. But question is, why there is a sorrow and discontentment? It is because of fear. Why fear is there? Because a human baby is born not fully mature. Human baby is born immature in brain. Because a human mother has to have the baby at least for 2 years if the baby has to mature fully. But human pelvis is small, so the baby is pushed into the world immature. And when that maturity starts around the age of 3 years, the fear comes which rules our life. Whatever we do, the fundamental motive force in the world is fear. How to escape from it. So that we are going to explore tomorrow, and then we will understand more about. I will stop here, but if there is a question, I can respond to it. Please.
Fear is ego being
Exactly. Yes, that's right. That's right. You are very rightly said, fear means ego. Ego means fear, because ego separates us from the rest of the world. Once we are separated, when we are living in duality, fear will be there. And around what time that appears in child's life, the ego? Around the age of 3 years. Sense of I appears. And it becomes stronger and stronger as we become adult. You are very right. Okay. Now, again a question. Do we want to gather as a small group this afternoon for a very personal dialogue and discussion or not? There is no need to, because this program is quite busy, but we won't gather here. This small gathering can happen in our room here in this building, room number 4, a small group where 7 or 8 people can sit. If there is a big group, then we can think of some other place. And also time.
Yes, please, I'll be interested.
Right. Okay. 2, 3, 4. So I think we will do it room number 4, which is right here on the same floor. You know, you came downstairs, so we'll start with 4 people. And time will be, pardon? What time will be convenient to you? Because we are free. What time you think? 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock?
4 o'clock works for everyone.
4 o'clock works? Okay. 4 o'clock, room number 4, Akash Ganga, easy to remember. So, see you there. And now, I will request.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Give me 2 minutes.
Pardon?
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yes.